Well, hello everybody. My another attempt to make a video. Uh, if you're like me, you probably go through some pretty rough, challenging days. If you don't, please let me know your secret because I think we all have some rough moments. Some of us get a little bit extra dose of rough moments than others. So I wanted to just take a minute, and I was thinking about this the other day, was how do I get through these tough times? uh, what things do I do? These rough days, these tough times, challenging moments, uh, when you just think that I can't go on, when you think that this is too much, or when you think that I just had enough, what do you do? What do? I had to stop and think about that because I honestly really didn't have a clue until I started to think about it. So I made a few little points. I made about three different things that I focus on. Excuse me if I look at my notes for a minute, but I had to do that because my brain doesn't remember things real well at times. So the first thing I do is self-care. Well, self-care is one of those words that's getting thrown around every day online, and it's like, go do self-care, do self-care. And I honestly don't think most people know what that means. I I didn't for a long time. I might have knew I needed to go relax or I needed to do something fun or whatever, but that meant going out for a beer with some coworkers, or it meant uh, I don't know, watching a TV show. I mean, while you could say that could be self-care, there was things I didn't know how to do with just myself. I didn't know how to be alone with myself, relax, let go, and all that. So sometimes it could, so here's some different things. Uh, so sometimes it could be food, making food, rest, relaxation, stress reduction, uh, creative moments, uh, taking care of myself in small ways. It could be taking a walk, being outside, sitting, uh, some type of personal habit, regiment that just taking care of myself. Like I said, it could be out in nature, listening to the birds. You know, one of the things that I noticed back when in 1991, when I had conversion disorder and I was paralyzed in a wheelchair for a while, for the first weekend, I went to a psychiatric hospital. I sat outside most of that weekend. There wasn't a whole lot going on. And I just noticed the sunshine, how it felt on my face, my hands, my body. I noticed the wind, how it would blow and whistle through the trees and move the trees, and just how it made me feel. I noticed the birds, how they flew, how they sung, how they were quiet. I mean, there was so many things that I just didn't notice. And I think we go through our days, we get in out of our house, we go to our car, we get to work, we do our job, we come home, and we never stop to notice the clouds in the sky, the sun and what it feels like, the birds, the animals, the nature stuff, the grass. Is it green? Is it brown? Is it yellow? Is it warm, cold out? There's just so many little things like that we fail to notice. And if we do stop to do it, it can shift so much, and it can give us back a moment that nothing else can match. I've gone to the park at times and I just walked back when I could walk easier, and I would just, in my mind, I'd see how many different birds or animals I could see or hear. And I would just observe and pay attention to them. And it's such a mindful way of walking through the park and recapturing those intricate moments that are worth more than any gold in the world could give you. Another thing that I do now, I have a cat and a dog, and so My dog, of course, he's an 11-month-old golden retriever at the time I'm doing this. He loves to play. And if you've had a puppy, you know they love to play. But he'll come up with a toy, and he brings the toy up to me, and he just wants me to play. He'll drop it in my lap. If I pick it up and move it, he'll bring it back and drop it right where I am. I mean, it's just interesting how he gets me to play. And sometimes that just helps pull me back to what reality is and what the here and now and this moment is all about. And I love my dog for that. Sometimes he's more energetic than I can do these days, but he just never reminds me to not take things too seriously. And sometimes just taking a nap, which I do quite a bit now because of my heart failure. I get tired very easy. But that nap, if I need to take it, I take it. I'm in a position where I can do that. And so I allow myself to take the naps. At first, I was angry that I couldn't make it through the day. Now I can make it through the days more, but I get very tired very easily. So that's self-care. Maybe that gives you some ideas. Maybe you have other ideas. Please share them. I'd love to hear them too. I'm always learning from everybody as much as I hope I'm giving to everybody. So another thing that I do on those rough days, and again, I'm kind of reading my notes a little bit too. So knowing that I'm going to make it through this because I've already made it through a lot, and just reminding myself that I can do this. You can call it self-talks, positive talk, whatever you want to call it. But sometimes in my mind, I need to physically tell myself that I can make it through this. Because sometimes some of these moments I'm facing are like, why in the hell do I care anymore? It gets pretty rough some days. And I'm trying to hold on long enough, I'm saying it, long enough for my mind to shift and say, okay, I can do this. Because sometimes our mind will play tricks on us. It'll say, nope, you're worthless, you're not going to make it, this is too much, just give it up. And those are the moments I have to step back and say, no. I'm not going down that road. I'm reversing this. I'm going my way. Is it easy? Oh, no. It's not. I can tell you I struggle with it. But it's one of the things that I realize I'm doing on those very rough days. And sometimes it takes me a couple rough days before I get to that point, and I'll suffer a lot. But at some point, I keep trying to remember that. The other thing that I think really helps me on rough days is managing my expectations. I'm a perfectionist. I've always been that way. When I got ready to play a piece of music in a church or for a choir or whatever it was, I practiced that thing so hard that I probably wore the keys out on the piano. I didn't want to allow myself to make any mistakes. I still struggle with that. I've gotten better about letting mistakes go, letting them be as can be, but that perfectionist way in me and that, trying to please the caretakers, adults in my life really harms me because it sets my expectations so high that I don't know who could obtain them. But in my mind, that's where I have to be. And I remember one boss telling me, he said, we could never set any goals or expectations on you that are high enough because you always set them much higher than we could ever do. And it's a lesson I'm still learning. But when I'm having a rough day, if I sit there and I make my expectations so high, boy, I'm just setting myself up for failure. And if I set myself up for failure, it's going to be hard to get through those rough days. So it's something I have to start looking at more, and I have to just put in perspective. And it's a process. It's not, oh, magically I just think of this and it's all better. It doesn't work that way, at least not for me. But the more I can keep this in mind, more I can share and talk about it, the more my brain starts to go, yeah, I remember that. And so it's a learning process. It's a growing process. It's awareness of what I still hold within me, and can let go. Hope some of these things have helped give you some ideas, or maybe it gives you some inspiration, or maybe just some encouragement. I'm just sharing what I've done and what I notice. I'm sure for all of us it's different, and I honor whatever your things are that you do in those tough moments, just as I ask for the honor and respect in what I do. And from my heart to yours, I send kindness, love, and respect, and I wish you all the best in your moments ahead. Until the next time, take care.